So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut that area there, leave this for storage, and I'm going to actually make this room my cleaning cupboard. I can't use it right off the bat, but I need to make sure that the space is available for me to use it. So let's see, and then 7. What are the requirements for that room? So now I've got my admin and I've got my basic stuff that I need over here. I've got my staff room, I've got 6 offices, I've got my deliveries, I've got... Now, the one thing I don't actually have is exports right now, but exports aren't that huge of an issue. I can leave exports out for the time being. I'm not going to be having a lot of large exports. It's primarily going to be the export of trees that I cut down in the process of building my prison. So, to build your first basic level of prison, you need to have a couple items. You need to have a holding cell, which minimum size is 5 by 5. The holding cell. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the minimum, but this isn't my holding cell. So this is going to be 11 by... So what's the final measurement? 5 by 10. So this room right here is a important room. This room is the this room is what's going to be my my reception room. So this is where the prisoners are going to have their initial shakedowns. So for the time being, just to help ease my stuff here, I am going to be intaking a lot of... I'm pretty much going to exclusively be intaking medium security. So it's easy to make money with them. I'm going to close the prison so that way I don't end up behind the 8 ball, as it were, when it comes to making sure that when it comes to making sure that my guys are getting taken care of. This is also the reception room. It's not necessary, but it is a very easy way to keep prisoners from bringing contraband in. So the other room one of the other rooms that's part and parcel to this one, and this one is necessary, especially at first, is a holding cell. What I traditionally do is I tend to make it all part of the same block here. You don't have to, I prefer to. Well, actually, I think I might do it this way. So, so this is going to be a dual purpose room here. So I'm going to have it here with an entrance and an exit and an entrance. So this part here is going to be the holding cell. I need a couple items here, so I need 5 for a bench. I'm going to put in 2 toilets, 2 showers, and then I'm going to be putting in a couple beds. The reason why you want to put a couple, and they're going to be bunk beds, the reason why you want to put that in is so that way, should you end up needing to have some people that, need to be kept in holding for a bit, they don't get as irate, they stand a less chance of becoming criminally insane. Because your prisoners can, in fact, become criminally insane if they don't get their basic needs met. And while I'm not the biggest fan of this mechanic, it is realistic, because I'm pretty sure anybody would go insane if we couldn't take a shower for weeks. I'm pretty sure we'd all go insane at that point. So this room here is going to be the little shower room. I'll make that a small bench so that way I can put a wall up here, so that way I can put metal detectors. And a large jail door, large jail door, large jail door. I said rotate. All right, with a large jail door there. So for this one, I need to plan objects. I need to plan for drains here to keep flooding from getting into there. And then I need to plan for some shower heads. So right there, that's pretty much going to reflect what I'm going to do here. This has been what I've found to be the most efficient way of making showers in here. I used to like having them lined up against the wall, but I found that this way is a little more efficient. So the other thing that I'm going to plan into is making sure that I've got a water heater there. That way my guys don't necessarily suffer from being constantly cold. It does a lot for keeping them from going insane. So I'm also going to place down a large jail door here. So this is not everything that I need to have. So I also need to have some rooms that I've got checked off. I've got my holding cell, I've got my shower, I've got my reception. I do need a kitchen and a canteen. The kitchen makes the food, the canteen serves the food. So you don't necessarily need to build them adjacent, and depending on how large you want to build a kitchen, it can serve multiple areas. You can have multiple canteens, and you should have multiple canteens depending on how you're setting up your rooms, on how you're setting up your prison, but it's not necessary. So let's see. Now traditionally I do tend to put an armory down here. Just it's right at the entrance and makes it very easy to secure the entrance if need be. So I think I'm going to place down my canteen here. Make it 15 long. About that wide. Alright, so I'm going to scrap that. What I was planning there was potentially a little staff corridor, but it shouldn't be a huge issue. So here's going to be the entrance to the canteen with just a single staff door. So in the kitchen, we need to prepare to have a sink or two, a little bit of a bin, and then I need to make sure that I've got a cooker. Need to make sure that I got cookers. And then fridges. So what you can do too, and sometimes it just requires playing with the dimensions a bit. So let's see. 8 by 10. That's honestly a good sized kitchen. 8 by 9's not bad either. So I need to make sure that I have a little hole here to allow them to get the food to the kitchen. You want to make sure that's a jail door because you can end up having prisoners work in here, and you want to make it to where you're not where you don't need to worry about them stealing a staff key. And you need a couple elements in your kitchen. Some you don't strictly need, but is helpful for you to have, like a sprinkler system. This is a common one that many people do legitimately forget to put in until their kitchen burns down. So I'm gonna put my 2 sinks here because they're the only things that measure in 3s. So then I'm gonna go ahead 4 and 2. Oh, I really should have made that one longer. All right. But then again, it doesn't have to be. So I've got my cookers. Now you can also make it this way because of the way that that's going to be. I can make all of these cookers and then just make all of that fridges and then cookers and then cookers. That way I've got a good amount of each. And then you need to make sure that you've got enough room for your canteen, so let's go 16. Now if I look at this, this should be 14 by 8. Alright. So objects, I need to make sure that I've got enough for a serving table. Maybe 2. It depends on how big it is, and then I'm gonna save this area here for potential vending machines and stuff like that to raise the grade of this. And then I'm gonna go ahead and make 5 by 3 blocks. So the reason why you want to make 5 by 3 blocks is because each one of the benches and tables are 5 by 1. So 5 by 3 means you've got enough for both benches and seats. So I'm actually going to go 5 by 3 and then 5 by 3. That way I've got enough room here to put a jail door in. So that's my canteen. Now, this right here is enough, but the one thing that we do need to keep building is a cell block. So a lot of people have a different thoughts behind cell blocks and the quality respective to. Actually, no, I am going to take in minimum security guys here, just because there tends to be more of them. So there's a couple different schools of thought when it comes to how you treat different grades of prisoners. I know some people, they'll give to try to pacify larger groups. Others will, say, no, you're super max, you've murdered 13 people. You're not going to be able to keep doing this. So, yeah. So I'm going to create a cell block here. I'm going to make it 21 so that way it should be 20. Yep. So a cell needs to have a couple items, namely a bed and a toilet. That's the only thing that's required in the cells. However, some people like to have the communal showers available. Some people do it by grade. I personally tend to do it by grade. If you're minimum security, you can have a shower in your own cell. But, for medium security and on, tends to become a little more unpleasant. So, let's see. I'm going to want it by, let's say by 5. So now I've got a 5 by 5 cell here. so it needs to be by 7. Alright, so that's all I'm going to be able to build for the time being until I get this water issue cleared up here, actually. So that should be able to get cleared up. So... Alright, so the danger to having the time running is you will start to lose money. So... Because having prisoners being there is how you tend to make your money. So there's my next 5x5. So now the one thing that you can do with minimum security that you can't necessarily do with a lot of other ones is you can do dormitory living. So I can actually have 2 people per cell here. So instead of this block being able to only house at full capacity 10 people, this one block will occupy 20 minimum security prisoners. And it's going to depend on how many prisoners you want to end up having in each one of your wings. Some people like to have a lower amount of minimum security. They don't necessarily intake a lot of them, but they end up promoting people into that minimum security role. So I like to have about 2 blocks, and I can always expand them a little further south. But hang on. So rooms that you want to make sure that you have for some of your guys here. You want to make sure that you have available a common room for them. So yeah, so now now I've got a common room here. Common rooms are important to allow prisoners to relax a bit. And again, while you might not necessarily want them to be able to do that, you know, you want to be able to... It's 2x3 again, I think. That. Put in the phone booth. And I'll just put in a couple of couches along here. You know, just a basic sort of, you know, and I do tend to use a lot of jail doors. I could use a normal door for this, but I like jail doors because they're a little more durable in case people riot. Now again, so let's see, let me see. So that's it. All right. So the benefit again of having that is I can put a wall up here and I can have a metal detector. Just because, you know, prisoners might try to swap things here.